Today's formula is really simple, so I'm going to give it away free and you'll find it in the description box for this video. So what we're making is an odour eliminator for shoes, for your feet, for gym bags, things like that. You don't want to put it on furniture because it is quite messy and you need to hoover it up. But what it acts is an antifungal, antimicrobial, it absorbs moisture and it eliminates odour. So it's really good if you have smelly trainers or such like that you might want to freshen up. So it's really simple to make. We need equal parts of Kaolin Clay, Arrowroot Powder and sodium bicarbonate. So that's what I'm going to add now. The first thing we have is the Kaolin Clay. And Kaolin Clay absorbs moisture from sweat, absorbs odour and leaves feet feeling nice and dry and soft, which is why we're adding this. Just use a clean beaker, tear your scale. Add the Kaolin Clay. I do recommend wearing a mask while you're doing this because these are fine powders and it's not great to breathe them in. Right for the Kaolin Clay. Next for our ingredients, we are using arrowroot powder, which is antibacterial, antifungal and absorbent, so it leaves your feet feeling dry and fresh, and it's also a non-irritant, so it won't make your feet all itchy or anything like that. And we need an equal amount of that. Tear your scale again. And the last of our powdered ingredients is sodium bicarbonate, which I have quite a lot in here. And this has antibacterial and antifungal properties, and it actually neutralises the odour and helps again to prevent itching. Tear the scale, and then an equal amount of this. Okay, so now you'll see I have my beaker full of my dry ingredients here. I'm just going to mix that up just to make sure it's all incorporated together. If you want to, you can put this through a sieve. I don't feel I need to with this because it's all quite fine, but you can of course do that if you want. It does help to incorporate it. And again, you can either use a spoon or a whisk for doing this. So just keep mixing until that's all incorporated. Okay, and when that's done, pop it back on your scales, tear your scales again so they're at 0, and then we need some kind of scent because this will help keep everything fresh and help to eliminate the odour and everything like that. So I'm just using some peppermint essential oil. You can use any that you like, or you can use a blend. If you want to use a blend, go on EO-Calc and you can calculate safely some essential oil blends. I'm using 1% in this of the peppermint. So the recipe below is for a 100-gram batch, which is also shown in percent to 100%. If you want, you can do what I'm doing and half it into a 50-gram batch, and that means just halving the gram amounts. So that means for this batch I just need 0.5 grams of the peppermint essential oil, and I'm just going to drop it into the dry mix until the scale shows 0.5. sometimes if you tap on the beaker, it helps to calibrate the scale so that it weighs accurately if you're using small measures. So now that's all dropped in, you can see the little droplets in there. I now just need to mix that really, really thoroughly. If you want to, you can go in with your fingers and sort of rub it together like you would if you were making scones or making pastry, something like that. And it just makes sure that all of that essential oil is incorporated and coating the powder. Okay, now you've got your finished powder, and what we're going to do is just jar it up. If you have a little jar or something with one of those shaker tops, do use that, because that'd be a lot better for decanting it into your shoes or wherever, because as you can see, it makes a massive mess. But this is all I've got to hand at the moment, so I'm just going to sort of create a funnel with my hand and just pour some in there. There we go. And that's your little jar of powder. I do have a top there, pop the lid on. If you have the little shaker tops that you can clip on, then use that. Pop the lid on, and then obviously I'll clean that up. But yeah, that's your little jar of odour eliminating shoe and foot powder, and that's perfectly safe to use on your feet and in your shoes, in your gym bag, things like that. I suggest if you pop it in your shoes, leave it overnight, then shake / hoover them out afterwards, and you'll find that it has absorbed the odour and they'll smell nice and fresh and clean. I'll just show you now how we'd use it. I have one of my shoes here. It's not particularly smelly, but we'll just use it to demonstrate. You just take a little bit of the powder. So I'm just going to use it from what we have in the beaker here. Turn that around. You don't need much, just a little bit. And then just sprinkle it inside the shoe. And then just shake it down so you're sort of coating the inside. It looks really messy, but don't worry about that. And then you just leave that overnight, and in the morning you come down, give that a hoover out, and your shoes will just smell nice and fresh and odour eliminated. And there you go, odour eliminating shoe powder. As I said earlier, the formula for this is free and it's down below in the description. If you want a printable version of it, that is on my Patreon. Speaking of my patrons, thank you very much to all of my patrons and everyone that watches my YouTube videos. These are the shout outs to my VIP patrons. The link to join Patreon is below, and I'll see you in the next one.